There are places and moments in America where this nation's destiny has been decided. Selma is such a place.
I was a young man who had an unusual childhood. I was a black kid in a place where there weren't a lot of black male role models. You know, it was the civil rights movement and people like John Lewis that gave me an anchor, that gave me a sense of what I might do with my life that would matter. I had the great honor of giving a speech for the 50th anniversary of that March on Selma.
The story of Selma connects to President Obama in a very personal way because people made a way to move our nation from slavery through segregation and Jim Crow to a moment where the nation at large could say, we want this person to lead and govern us.
To me, the story of Selma is one of the epic stories of America. On one side, the armies of the dispossessed and the marginalized and the voiceless, led by a 25-year-old young man in a trench coat and a knapsack. And on the other side, you have the power of the state that is insisting that America is only for some people and will use violence to enforce the status and privileges that have been established.
I was 11 years old at the time, and I had no idea there would be violence on the bridge. So when they lined up for the march, I got in line too. We marched up to the bridge and over it, and I saw this line of policemen lined all the way across all four lanes, state troopers. I'm standing there waiting for the front to go down when suddenly I hear what I thought were gunshots and screams. Before we could turn and run, it was too late. They came in from both sides, the front and the back, and they were just beating people. Old, young, male, female, black, white, it didn't matter. People lay everywhere, not moving, bleeding, and you couldn't stop to help them or you'd be beaten too.
If you look at that moment, clearly the odds are on the side of those with the batons. It's not on the side of a bunch of unarmed protesters, except those folks were armed with conviction and an extraordinary courage. And at the end of the day, they won. Throughout that speech, what I tried to describe is that America, from the start, was in fact made up of outsiders and misfits and people who were often dismissed or discarded.
Freedom, freedom.
That's what made America unique.
You are America, unconstrained by habit and convention, unencumbered by what is, because you're ready to seize what ought to be. The single most powerful word in our democracy is the word we. We the people. We shall overcome. Yes, we can. Oh, what a glorious task we are given to continually try to improve this great nation of ours.
Part of the reason why we thought that this excerpt was appropriate to be etched in the building itself is because it speaks to the priorities of the foundation. Our goal is not to just create a monument to my presidency, but rather to describe for anybody who visits how Michelle and I and so many others stood on the shoulders of those who had fought the good fight before us, and hopefully that then will inspire a new generation of activists. We want them to go through the exhibits and the stories of my presidency and say, oh, this is a part of me. This belongs to me.
One of the things we want people to take away from their experience is to feel empowered, to understand how they can make change once they leave. And this is something that is really modeled through the history of the modern civil rights movement and a truly wonderful example of Selma.
Bloody Sunday continues to be relevant and resonates today because we're still fighting for the same things. Sometimes we give it new names like voter suppression and police brutality. I think it's very, very important for generations to come that this history is not forgotten. It's too important to the fabric of this nation to be forgotten.
What I hope the quote provides is a sense for all those folks on the south side of Chicago that they count, that they matter. So my hope is that in the same way that John Lewis gave me this sense of meaning and purpose, that Michelle and I are able to pass that on because, you know, it's our daughter's generation. The goal of the Obama Presidential Center is for them to be able to identify that as an institution and a space that supports them in their vision for the future.
We honor those who walked so we could run. We must run so our children soar, and we will not grow weary, for we believe in this country's sacred promise.